Dan Bongino will now split his role with Andrew Bailey, who just announced that he will resign as Missouri's Attorney General next month. Now, this move comes a month after Bongino clashed with U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi over the Jeffrey Epstein files. CNN's Tom Foreman has more on this unusual personnel move at the FBI.
The illicit nature of these witch hunt prosecutions is self-evident to anyone paying attention.
A fire-breathing defender of MAGA, Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey tried and failed to intervene in President Trump's criminal conviction in New York. He's railed against federal government overreach, student loan debt forgiveness, transgender rights, and more.
That's all woke liberal nonsense.
And he stood solidly behind the false claim that Trump really won the election he lost in 2020, laying out a conservative fever dream of ways liberals might cheat again before the last election.
They're going to try to seal this one by silencing our voices on big tech social media platforms, by stifling us in the mainstream media, and by packing the polling places with criminal, illegal aliens that shouldn't be here in the first place.
Never mind that his resume is thin for such a top federal job. At the White House, his assessment is rock solid.
Andrew Bailey is extremely qualified. As you know, he's been serving with honor as the Attorney General of Missouri.
But now it gets complicated. In his new role, Bailey will be a co-deputy director of the FBI with Dan Bongino, who has had the job all to himself.
I like Dan Bongino, yeah.
So what's changed? The Jeffrey Epstein case.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
As the White House has tried to quiet public interest in the scandalous tale of the late billionaire's pedophilia and a stream of revelations about his friendship with Trump, Bongino has clearly struggled to drop his long-standing claims of a cover-up around the case.
There's more than meets the eye there. I know a lot of people want to make this thing go away.
Bongino has also expressed some general sense that he doesn't like what the job is showing him. He's like, he's not crazy about this job. The question now, though, for many is he now going to be shown the door now that a replacement is standing right next to him? And, of course, the question for the White House is, does any of this do anything to quiet the noise about the Epstein case and the notion that they said they were going to lay it all out there, and they still haven't? Pam?
Tom Foreman, thanks so much. I want to bring in someone who once held this job of FBI Deputy Director. That would be Andy McCabe. So Tom just really laid it out there. Despite him having no FBI background, the White House says Bailey is being brought on as a, quote, another set of very credible and experienced hands to work alongside Bongino. Typically, I know I covered the FBI for years. A deputy, FBI agent would be someone who had a lot of experience in the Bureau. Now you have two co-FBI deputy directors without that. What do you make of this?
Really exactly what the FBI does not need right now, which is another high-ranking official who has no law enforcement experience, really beyond, I guess he was in the general counsel's office at the Department of Corrections before his time as AG, but no federal law enforcement experience, no significant leadership experience, and no understanding of the FBI, of its, as you know, labyrinthine ways, its unique culture, strange language, and a massive workforce that generally stays for 20 years or more. So, instead what they're getting is a very active political operative, someone who's clearly proved his loyalty to President Trump, but at a time when the Bureau is being dragged deeper and deeper and deeper into politics. I think this is a really questionable choice.
And we know, as Tom laid out, he is an election denier despite all of the available evidence. What red flags does that raise for you?
Well, Pam, as you know, the FBI deputy director is responsible for all investigative activity and intelligence collection. And so in that, it's an enormous role with incredibly broad scope, but many times every day, important decisions are brought to you as kind of the final arbiter of what will happen in a given case or in an operation or on a long-term national security strategy. And you have to be able to make those decisions based on simply the facts and the law. And to put someone in that role who has had such a prominent experience recently ignoring the facts and the law, and something like being an election denier or inserting himself into the president's criminal battles, really just raises more questions about why this person why now?
And do you see Bongino, for his part, being on his way out? Because this has never happened either, right? Where you have a co-deputy director.
No, it's really, I can't even imagine how that will work. As I said, the deputy director is the last word on all of those decisions. So to split that same level of authority between two people is inevitably going to lead to conflict. Bongino has been pretty clear. He's not super happy with the job. This could all just be a strategy to build kind of a transition for him to leave. So we'll have to see how that goes. But if he leaves, he'll be replaced by someone who really doesn't bring any more experience or knowledge of the FBI to the job than Bongino did.
And what impact do you think this will have on the rank and file at a time when some of them are being pulled to police streets in D.C.?
Police streets in D.C., you've got Joint Terrorism Task Force agents who are being told to spend at least 30% of their time providing security for immigration arrests. The rank and file in the FBI understand how they're being taken off target. They're being taken off critical missions to fill these political roles that are essentially desired by the White House. This will definitely be seen as a strong push in that direction.
Former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, thank you so much.
Sure.
So no more extreme